rock solid when we bout to lead the sword and stone, nigga. We warriors, hardcore, tracking the pride. To let the Hebrew speak, nigga. General highs, and we talking super heavy, nigga. That's the surprise. With all scripture, street talk, word to Captain the Kai, nigga. We blazing, ripping the mic with all facts, doing the knowledge to the max till we cracking the pavement. U.P.K, y'all the one West Harlem, nigga. We spring forward and they falling like it's all.
I can shake your hand. I can respect you. You understand? I can respect you. You understand?
They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my people. Yes, you said so. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right. That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just Isupk sat in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never our home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe this slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting, the trail of my tears is countless. Main fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Cracking the sky, nuclear missiles will make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be, slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cage is safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash, get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood slim. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember YAHANNA's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in this body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is dish served cold, I just hope they making oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in the world of mass shooters. That was designed fire for our babies to pass through in the day of our king's reign. I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a
Hey, Shalom, Lord in Christ, Lord in Christ. I'm Priest and Officer Tawaga Bar. This is the Law and History class, Wednesday night class. We're going to go over some current events. We're going to go over some history, and we're going to get it in. So, what's in the news right now? Let me check the comments. Hey, Shalom Shabal. Shalom, Sister Barathanawa. Sister Kalmaz, my ribs. Shalom. So yeah, man, the Dami Lama, right? Young man, did you get those articles I sent to you?
I seen them.
You got them? You got them?
I can get some right now.
Yeah, I want you to read the one. I want you to read A Shalom, sis Angela. I want you to read the one with the Dami Lama.
Sorry, I found it.
Go ahead. Let me pull it up, but let me pull it up real quick. Let me screen share real quick. Where do we at? Where we at? Was that the second one? That was the first one that I sent you,
It's
right?
the first one. It's U.S. State today.
Oh, okay. All right. Here we go. Present. Share screen. Here we go. Go ahead. You can go ahead and read.
Sorry. The Dalai Lama, the spiritual head of Tibetan community, apologized Monday after bizarre video of him kissing a young Indian boy on the lips, asking him to suck his tongue went viral.
What? Man, you see how you see the reason why the Lord wanted us to be separate from these other nations. Now I'm going to get into the hypocrisy of the West. And when I say the West, I'm talking about America and all of those countries, you know, France and England and Germany, all of these countries that, you know, have this conglomerate media machine where they act as though they're the world police and they ain't done no wrong. And they throw rocks and hide their hands, and they act as though they don't do these same things, right? This is the reason why the Lord told us to be separate from all other nations. It's because they have different cultures, they do different things, they eat different foods, you know, they live a certain way, you know, and the Lord never wanted us to take on their ways and their customs. He didn't even want us to give our sons to their daughters, or more importantly, give our daughters to their sons, right? Or should I say more important would be the son to get that seed away, right? But this is a prime example of not only why the Lord wanted us to be separate, but also I'm going to show you something and how hypocritical America and all of these other European nations are. See, because this is everywhere. This is on, you know, what is it? The New York Post. This is on USA Today. It's everywhere. New York, LA Times, New York Times, whatever. It's everywhere. This story was just everywhere on the news, right? And they're just like, oh, they're so appalled and they're so disgusted and they're so shocked. Keep reading.
Sorry.
The
footage which took
okay, go
second
ahead.
paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
The footage which took place during a public event in India has sparked widespread criticism.
Now this is why. Hold on. This is why I say this is another people's culture, because this happened in public in India. This happened in public in India, and this happened in February. Nobody said nothing. Nobody. The East Indians didn't care. The Indians didn't care. The Chinese didn't care. That's where Tibet is. It's in the land. It's in between India and China. It's where Mount Everest is at, the highest peak on the planet, right? But nobody batted an eye because that's that's part of their culture, right? It wasn't until somebody, some Karen, some English woman, or some the Kens and Karens of America saw it, then it sparked outcry. And I'm gonna show you the hypocrisy in that. Go ahead.
The footage, which took place during a public event in India, has sparked widespread criticism, with child rights groups as well as social media users calling them the move.
With what? Read that slow. I want you to slow down. Slow down when you read.
Okay.
And I want to absorb what is being said in this article. So read that from the top.
The footage, which took place during a public event in India, has sparked widespread criticism, with child rights groups as well as social media users calling the move inappropriate and calling.
Go ahead. Just keep reading. Yeah, keep reading.
As well as social media users calling the move inappropriate and calling for
social media users. Go hold it right there. So it has sparked criticism with child rights groups. These are groups that are, fighting for children's rights and fighting for the protection of children. Child rights groups and social media users calling it inappropriate. Oh, that's inappropriate, huh? Well, let me get this article. Give me the article, the second article that I sent you. Give me that article about the priest.
Is the Elefante so like is it the Elefante Papieri and
no let me see hold on 1 second. Let me see real quick. I'll send it to you. Let me send it to you. Let me know if you got that.
No, I just got it.
You got it. Switch the tab. Go. Let me know when you're ready.
Getting to it now. I got it. French report: 330,000 children victims of church sex abuse. Paris, AP victims.
The French reported in
Francis
2000 and hold it. The French in 2021 that 330,000 children were victims of church sex abuse. Now, these are the same people that are speaking against the Dalai Lama. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not coming to protect the Dalai Lama. Hell nah. I'm just showing you the hypocrisy of Europe and of America in these countries that act as though they're the world policemen and they've done nothing wrong. Now, this is just France. This is not the parishes, the Catholic priests in Europe and England and the other parts of the world, or even in America. America ain't even put out how many cases they have, but France in 2021 put out this report that said 330,000 children were victims of sex abuse. Talk about what it was, the one, the kettle salagi. What is it, young man? You know that saying? The kettle calling a pot black. Salaki.
Oh.
Now they're pointing fingers and they're outraged at what happened with the Dalai Lama, and that's part of their culture. So hey, I don't give a damn no way, but they are hypocrites because they molest children every year, every day, and nobody gets prosecuted. But it's like, oh, you need to take him off of his platform. He needs to stand down. You know how to try to cancel somebody. But the thing is that America needs to be canceled, right? America needs to be canceled by the Most High. Go ahead and read that. I don't even think you got into it. Let's read a little bit of it.
Okay. Paris, victims of abuse within France's Catholic Church welcomed a historic turning point Tuesday after a new report estimated that 330,000 children in France were sexually abused over the past 70 years, providing the country's first
over
accounting.
70 years. 330,000 over 70 years. I don't know. Somebody could find a number per year. Somebody could divide that into, break that down into 70 years for me and put it in the chat. I appreciate it. Go ahead. You hear me, young man? Salaki, you still there? Let me see what's going on.
Oh, Salaki, my mic was muted.
Yeah, you look like you was muted.
I thought it was unmuted. The figure includes abuses committed by some 3,000 priests and an unknown number of other people involved in the church, wrongdoing that Catholic authorities covered up over decades in a systemic manner, according to the president of the commission that issued the report, Jean-Marc Sauvé. The 2,500-page document was issued as the Catholic Church in France, like in other countries, seeks to face up to shameful secrets that were long covered up. Figures welcomed the report as long overdue, and the head of the French Bishops' Conference asked for their forgiveness.
Good night. So they are hypocrites. So they mad at the Dalai Lama, which, that is something that is evil. It's something that is grotesque. And he's a pedophile, but it puts me in the mind of the what was the dude named Mahatma Gandhi. Remember how Mahatma Gandhi was and how his culture was is when he was, I think you remember, young man, when he was 75 years old, 75 years old,
so around there.
Up there in age, and he wanted to sleep with his grandniece just to show that he could abstain from sexual desires. But he wanted to sleep naked with his grandniece, and that was completely okay. And he was still, revered as some great man of peace, just like the Dalai Lama, right? And we should just stay away from, trying to follow these people and look at their culture as though it's something. And Dalai Lama, I think they're supposed to be like monks, and he's supposed to be so holy, right? Just like the Catholic priests, they're supposed to be so holy. Meanwhile, you're sending your children to the Catholic Church, and they're being molested, and then 30 years later they come out, and they're all destroyed and wonder why their life is so messed up and they're so depressed and suicidal. That's because 30,000. Let me look in the chat if somebody got that for me. That's because 330,000. The sister put it in there.
Sir, I got the number.
You got the number?
Okay.
Sis, that looks like an astronomical number. Go ahead. Go ahead, young man.
It's about 4,714 children a year.
To the tune of 4,700 children a year. That's what they're doing to the children in America and the children in Europe. But yet they mad at someone else for doing the same thing. Your oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And he is always acting as though he has done nothing wrong, right? Just like Cain. Cain acted as though I don't know where my brother is. I don't know What happened? And that's your oppressor, right? They'll tell you that why are they beating you in the head, and while you can see it on television with your own eyes that they killing you, and they say, you we didn't do anything wrong. We went by our rules. We followed all the rules, and he shouldn't have resisted. That's what it was. He shouldn't have resisted. And speaking of that, the Caucasian boy that just killed people, where was that at? He just killed some people. Anyway, they just said that he was on hard times. He was going through some things. Meanwhile, they put out that Trayvon Martin right away. He smoked weed. So they always on this devilish thing where they want to point the finger at you and make you look like you're the problem, when in reality they are the problem. When in reality they are doing the same damn thing. There's a video. I don't know the name of the coach, but it just came out. This is a coach that coaches, young black man, and he was in Atlanta driving around, and I guess he was doing the video. He was in Atlanta driving around, and he was just talking about how he hasn't seen one white person yet. Like, he's like in his car showing you the streets, and he was like, it used to be fun back in the day when we came down here. Now it's just done, it done went to hell because it's all black people. And they people are outraged of that. But this is the thing. He's a coach, and he's the same coach that comes and talks to the black mother and say, yeah, we need your son. He's an exceptional player. I need him on my team. He probably can go to the NFL. He got a good chance of going to the NFL and changing your whole life. He's the same coach that goes and sits there, goes to the hood, grabs these kids, takes them to McDonald's, take them out to eat, because that's how they get all brothers. You ever see? I don't know if any of y'all familiar with that blue chipping and all that. They take care of the star players. They'll take care of you. They'll come and pick you up and take you home and get you something to eat and buy you some shoes and put a little money in your pocket, right? Meanwhile, this coach hates black people, and all he coaches is black people. All he coaches is black boys. That's your police department. You looking at coach like, coach, come on, coach. Like, coach is so damn cool. Meanwhile, coach is only using you for a purpose. Just like this kingdom, they only use black and Hispanic people for a purpose, right? And that is to slave until you die. That is to build kingdom. Black women, they talk about black women being the most educated, right? Black people in general are very educated. Talk about black women being the most educated, but that education simply is just a way to build up their kingdom, not our kingdom, not help our people, right? And so we look at these accolades as though they really mean something, when really they mean absolutely nothing. I brought that out today. I said, just because you go to college doesn't mean that you're smart, right? When you go to school, you go to college, you're going for a particular thing. You're going for, psychiatry or something like that. Whatever you may be going for, that whole program is a curriculum that is designed by white people sitting around in a think tank. And they said, we're going to put these books. We're going to put these books. Con, it was in Kentucky. It was a shooting in Kentucky. Well, they already showing that they already put articles out saying like hard times. They already make an excuse. And not only that, what they do is they humanize themselves, but they demonize us, right? So they make themselves look like they're humans so that you can relate, that you can feel sorry, feel some type of sympathy for what he went through. Meanwhile, when it's us, they demonize us and make us look as though We're some damn gremlins, and we are hell bent on being criminals, right? But the point is, I almost forgot my train of thought. But when it comes to the situation that happened with this coach, this is the thing. We deal with these people on a daily basis, and we smile in their face, and we look at them as though, you know, we're friends and we're accepted. In reality, they just don't want to say it in your face. They don't want to say how disgusting you are to them, right? But they need you for a purpose. They need you to build up their kingdom. They need you to, you know, do jobs here. They need you to get them a championship like that coach, and that's it. And I remember when we was in high school, man, I came up with some very talented brothers in high school. Me myself, I had some talent too, but I had a little attitude problem. The coach didn't like me. He didn't like a couple of us. But the brothers that he did, like, you could tell. He would take care of those brothers. He would do things for them, pick them up, take them to school, you know what I mean? And even then I started to notice that as young black men, we're just used to get to the, you know, the preliminary finals, the CIF finals, the championship. That's how they look at these young black boys, right? Because the reality is, a lot of these brothers end up on drugs, end up selling drugs, end up getting killed. That's the reality. So they don't really give a damn about you. They're using you for that point in time. And that it ain't just this coach, it ain't just police, it's school teachers that look at our children like that. It's the judicial system. When they go into the system, that's how they look at them. No one has any mercy for God's chosen people. Nobody has an eye to say, you know what, we done destroyed these people. These people, they're not like this for no reason. It's not just because they just naturally want to be the way they are. Well, hell, look at all the things they done went through. Look at everything they done went through. Maybe that has something to do with what's going on with them. Maybe some black people is dealing with mental illness. So Salaki, hold on one second. Yeah, maybe some black people, maybe there's some brothers and sisters dealing with mental illness. I mean, no one even cares to check. No one cares to check to see what is the mind state of blacks and Hispanics. Why do we do the things we? What is the trauma level within our communities? No one even thinks about those things. It's either you're good or you bad. There's no in between. Either you're good, either you're a yes man, or you're not. Now, when it comes to them, they're humans. But when it comes to us, we're demons. We're gremlins. We're hell raisers. We need to be stopped, right? When no one takes the time to sit there and try to understand what is our issues or even the history of what has happened to us, right? Is there any more on that?
Nah, sir, that's it.
Any more on that? Nothing on that? Oh, let me close
article.
this out. Yeah, we're done with that, right?
That's it. Okay.
All right, no sweat. Stop. No sweat. So yeah, what else I want to go into? What else happened? It's something else that happened that's a current event. And I can't put my finger on it right now. Maybe somebody can drop it in the chat. So I'm gonna go over. I got some history that I'm gonna go over. In Egypt, the Shield of David in Egypt. I was listening. I came across a video with some fake Israelites that was saying that, you know, there's no history of the Shield of David, of the Israelites ever using the Shield of David. So I got some history. You know, I got to come with some history. And in between in between that time, what I want to do is I'm gonna go into a breakdown because I've seen this is what sparked this. I've seen women teaching the Bible, and this is a topic that we don't. At least I don't talk about a lot, but the Lord prescribed for us as Israelite men to raise up this nation and to prophesy unto Israel. Now, women have great jobs in the kingdom. Women, listen, a woman was created to be a helper to a man. So without a woman, a man, he is lacking in some areas, because a sister could just take you, if you almost to the top, a sister could take you over the top. And so women do have important roles in the society of Israel. It's just not teaching the Bible. Now, a woman can teach children, she can teach other women. But when you go to teach a man, you are usurping authority over that man, right? It shouldn't be no man, just like it shouldn't be no woman teaching the Bible. It shouldn't. In the Lord's kingdom, there will be no women police officers. There will be no women judges. There will be no women correctional officers. There will be no women that's usurping authority over a man, because that's biblical and that's in order. Now, in this kingdom, in the white man's kingdom, a woman can have all the power she wants. And let me just tell you, it's kind of funny, because when this is something that a lot of people might agree with, men and women, brothers and sisters. Now, all my years of working, when it came to being around brothers and sisters that have positions of power, I've never actually had a problem, except one, but this brother wasn't really, he was LGBTQ. He just didn't like a strong brother. But I can say one slight one issue at work with somebody that had power, another Israelite that had power. Usually it was always a sister. It was almost like a sister go harder on her people when she get a little bit of power at the place in employment. And so that's something that I noticed. I mean, that's just a sidebar, but that's something that I have noticed. And that's just my personal experience. Whereas I've seen that where sisters are harder on their people. They are more you know how it is. You know how it is when people get when anybody gets a little bit of power, they ain't never had none, but you get it over your people, and man, you think that your stuff don't stink. But yeah, so go ahead and give me 1 Corinthians 11:3. We're just gonna get a nice little simple breakdown of why women can't teach the Bible. Now, Christians have flipped this all the way around and say, well, that was in that time. That's not right now. But we know that's not true. Go ahead. 1 Corinthians 11:3.
Come on, God. Get there. 11:3. The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man.
He said the head of every man is Christ, right? Christ is running everything. This is the order that the Lord prescribed. Because if we don't go by this order, well, we don't go by this order. We don't live by this order in our communities in America. And you see the outcome of not living under the order of what we're reading right now. Go ahead.
The head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God.
Right. So there's an order. Christ is the head of man. Man is the head of woman, and the Most High is the head of Christ. But nah, this society says no. A woman can have a job where she's ahead of a man, where she's telling a man what to do, where she has the power to dictate what a man does. That's not the order, right? Now, don't get me wrong, because I know a lot of people hate the Bible. They hate the I.S.U.P.K because we teach the Bible on how it's supposed to be taught. But many people will say, "Well, damn, what can a woman do?" I just said it. A woman can do a lot of things. A woman can be very, very great. And let me just say this: women are very important. And in the I.S.U.P.K, we love our women. In the I.S.U.P.K, we appreciate our sisters. All right. So don't ever get that twisted. Give me 1 Timothy 2:11. What you say? Let me see. Right. Says they'll never say those things about us. We just drug dealers and rapers and murderers. We lose all humanity once we hit, Channel 7 News. Once we hit ABC News, Fox News, we lose all humanity. We no longer are human. We're just somebody that needs to be punished, right? Where there is no understanding for us. There is no compassion for us. And that's why I really don't get, I just don't understand it. Like when one of these celebrities, pass away, one of these Edomite celebrities, and you have a lot of blacks and Hispanics that be sad and hurt. And I'm like, listen, I don't got no damn compassion for none of them, right? All of my tears the only tears I got is for my people. I don't have any compassion to give. We've been given and given and given and given, and we don't, and that's the reason why we don't have nothing for each other. That's why we we don't have any patience with each other. We done gave everything, all of us, all of our heart and soul to another people, worried about them, worried about how they doing, worried about some damn rich celebrity that passed away. Listen, all of their problems is over with. But you still got to live in the hood, and you still got to worry about rent, and you still got to worry about getting pulled over by the police, and you still got to worry about getting up and going to your slavery. You still got to worry about all your worries. When the hell you care about some celebrities for that then pass away? That's not even your people, right? I don't have that capacity or that compassion to even give a damn, because I don't. Salakia, go ahead.
Okay. The book of 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 11. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection.
Right. This says, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection, right? Okay. Why? Because if you're running your damn mouth, you can't learn anything. You're running you're hooping and hollering. This is what they do in the Christian church. They be hooping and hollering. The pastor say something, and they like, yeah, pastor, go on, pastor. Okay, shut your damn mouth. Not that you would learn anything in the Christian church anyway, but you can't learn anything when you're hooping and hollering and ad-libbing. Don't nobody need your damn ad-libs. Just be quiet. That's how you learn. And that's just not with women, but we know women, when it comes to being in that Christian church, in that whorehouse, a woman is emotional. And that spirit, that same spirit that's in the club, that same spirit that's in the hookah lounge, that same spirit that's in the bar comes out in women in the Christian church. Facts. That same spirit comes out in women in the Christian church, and they running up and down the aisles. They two-stepping. They doing it all. Not saying brothers don't do it, but the sisters, they wearing them big hats, right? But you can't learn anything if you in that type of spirit. The spirit of the Lord is to sit your raggedy tail down and listen so that you can learn. Raise your hand if you got a question. It's order, real order and decency. Is there any more on that? What verse are you
Sir,
on?
did you want? I'm on verse. That was just verse 11. Do you want verse 12?
Yeah, give me verse 12.
Kind of want to. Verse 12. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence.
He said, but I suffer a woman not to teach. Not to teach. Now they'll tell you, now this was during the time of, you know, that it was back then, it wasn't now. Right? And that's the hypocrisy of the Christian church. Because they say they love God, they say they love Jesus, they say they love the Bible, and they all about God's goodness and grace. But the minute something applies to them, they say, well, oh, that was back then. That ain't for right now. Really? Really? That ain't for right now. That was back then. Oh, so those blessings was back then too, huh? Them blessings you be talking about, the what is it? Sowing the seed and getting a blessing was back then, right? I guess so. I don't make no damn sense. But this is recorded in the scriptures for a reason. Everything that is in here is for a reason. Hold on one second. Let me get that precept real quick. Everything in the scriptures is for a reason. Right? Give me Romans 15:4. Romans 15:4.
The book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
Right.
That we.
Right. So it says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, for us to learn. Go ahead.
That we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope.
Right. Because you ain't got no damn hope when you're sitting up in that pew and some woman is hooping and hollering and talking sideways, just like anybody in the world, and saying that God is with her with all that foolishness. And the Christian church is Christianity has such powerful witchcraft on our people. When they hear us say this, that a woman shouldn't teach, they are against it. They reject it wholeheartedly. They say that the Lord works through anybody, right? The Lord will work through a little boy, let alone woman. They will reject it wholeheartedly. Give me Ephesians 5:22. Ephesians 5:22. When you go in the damn church, it's filled with nothing with women. It's filled with women and you know and teenagers. That's what the church be filled with. You got your older woman here and there, but it's mostly filled with women, middle-aged women and teenagers. And the pastor and his mean ass first lady, Salaki. But it's the church is all set up. The whole setup of the church is to cater to women. The music, the choir, the dancing, the singing, you know what I'm saying? All of that is catered, for vanity, for something that a woman loves. Let me know when you got it.
So, you said Ephesians 5:2?
5:22.
Okay. The book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and verse 22. Wives, submit yourself unto your husbands, as unto the Lord.
Listen,
verse 23.
This is something that women hate. That word submit, they hate it. I think women in America look at the word submit as though it's slavery. You understand? As though it's just, oh, they chained up in the bedroom with you know, and can't go nowhere. They got tabs on their phone. They just can't, be them. But yeah, if you're a whore, you would feel that way. If you're one of those women that are, if you're sexually liberated, yeah, you would feel that way. You would feel like submitting to a man is a problem if you running around here, from one man to the next, partying and half naked on the internet, and you're under no type of rule. You would feel like that, right? Read it from the top again.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 5, and verse 22.
Mm-hmm.
Wives, submit yourselves unto your husbands as unto the Lord.
Keep going.
Verse 23. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body.
There it go again. And not only that, it says submit to your husband as you submit to the Lord. And that's why these Christian women in these churches that say that Jesus is my husband, they're out of order and they're out of line, and Christ ain't with that, because the Bible clearly tells you to submit to your husband as unto the Lord. So you look at your husband as your Lord. You understand what I'm saying? The way you submit to the Lord, the way you want to submit to the Lord and praise dance and do all those things you claim you doing for the Lord, do them for your husband. Do them unto him. Right? Go ahead.
Okay.
We're going to 24.
Okay. Verse 24. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
Right. Give me Job 39 and 17.
Okay. 39 and 17.
Mm-hmm.
The book of Job, chapter 39.
Exactly. So like the sister says exactly, if you submit that box to the man, then you should submit everything else. That's right. And that's something that in this society, man, we don't have that in this society, and we don't have it both ways. We as men and women, we don't know what it takes to stay together. All we know is that we want to hop in bed with each other, right? And a lot of sisters they hate that word submit. I'm glad she brought that up, but they hate that word submit. But this will mind boggle any sister if you say this to her. When you're talking about submit and you say, well, maybe you should have submitted your mind before you submitted your body. We have been taught the wrong way, and this society teaches us that we have multiple number of people that we're going to sleep with throughout our life. I was just talking to an older brother. Older brothers just started, talking to me at the Slave, and he was just saying he was from Memphis, and he grew up during Jim Crow, and he was like, his father wasn't in his life, right? He was real Christian. He said his father wasn't in his life, but his father lived about 3 houses down, but he never came to see him. He said he said, I ain't tripping. It made me the man that I am. But he said he was what's the word? He was what's the word he said? Anyway, illegitimate child. Like, they were big on that back then. Like, they was big on, like, if you're married and you have children that's not in that marriage, then that child is like an illegitimate child. He's not really your child, or you're ashamed of this child. And I thought, I was like, damn, that's cold. But the way that we come up in America is that we're just, we just messing around, and we find the one, and I find your soulmate. That they love this. I grew up with that. But people talking about find your soulmate. Meanwhile, you done already laid with your soulmate, according to the Bible. Meanwhile, you wonder why things ain't working out and why y'all can't never get along, or it always falls apart, is because from a mental perspective and from a character perspective, y'all never actually, locked in that way. You never got to know the person that way. And so it was just straight to the bed, and therefore it stands on nothing. It don't stand on nothing. But we have a messed up thing in our community where we think that sex don't mean anything. Sex like people, what they used to call those people where you're not together but you have sex every now and then. Friends with benefits. You had that thing going on, like you're friends with benefits, and you had women become like men, where it's like they could have sex with a man and not have feelings for him, and it was just a casual thing, when it's a very serious thing to the Lord. It's very, very serious. And so giving your mind, getting to know somebody for a time would ensure, according to the Bible, whether or not you're going to be together with a person. Because if you just be with them, if you just court them, and you just, get to know them, and then you figure out there's some things that you don't like about them, you can back up out of that, right? Without giving your body, though, without, making that union, which is considered marriage in the Bible. But I don't want to, let me move on. Where were we at?
Job 39 and 17.
Yeah, give me Job 39 and 17. Job 39 and 17. Go ahead.
The book of Job, chapter 39 and verse 17. Because God hath deprived her of wisdom, neither hath he imparted to her understanding. Verse 18. What time she lifted up herself.
Hold on. Now this is talking about the ostrich. It's talking about how black women treat their children, right? How the ostrich treats its eggs, how it's careless with the eggs, and then it'll sit on the eggs and crush the eggs, right? But it's also talking about the wisdom that the Lord gave unto man to teach these precepts and to teach the Bible. He didn't give that to women, but it's okay. See, because like I said before, a woman can teach children and kids, but the wisdom that the woman gets, she gets from the man. She gets from either her husband, or she gets it from her, the men that are over her, the counselors that are over her. And she gives that unto, other sisters, and she gives it to children. But the Bible is clear in saying that the man, matter of fact, I think we're going to get to it, who the Lord uses, not the next precept, but give me 1 Peter 3 and 7. 3 and 7, and then I think I want to get Genesis, because First Peter 3 and 7. Let me see. Genesis.
Sorry, sir. Do you want First Peter right now, or hold off?
You got it?
God, I got it.
Oh yeah, go ahead and give it to me.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 3 and verse 7. Likewise, ye husbands dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife, as unto the weaker vessel, and
right,
as being heirs together.
Hold it. You just read it from the top, and I want you to stop at the end of the first precept.
Come on. The book of 1 Peter, chapter 3 and verse 7. Likewise, ye husbands dwell with them according to knowledge.
Yeah, so you dwell with your wife, the women in your life, you dwell with them according to knowledge, according to the understanding of them, right? Not on some crazy stuff or treating them wrong, or you have to use knowledge when you're dealing with a woman. When you're with a woman, you got to have a strong temperament. You have to make wise decisions, right? You have to have restraint also, because you got to be the leader. So you don't want to be, like, what was the scripture say? You don't want to be frantic and like, a lion in your household. You don't want to be off the wall. You want to treat them according to knowledge, the knowledge that you have. Go ahead.
Giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel.
Giving honor unto your wife as unto the weaker vessel. You got to understand that she's weaker than you, not just physically, but mentally. A woman can be more emotional and a man can be more logical. So you have to keep those things in consideration when you're dealing with a woman. The Lord is showing you how to treat a woman, how to love a woman, and how to understand a woman in a situation that you might not understand. But at the end of the day, according to knowledge, that, okay, this woman is like this, or she's probably going through some things, or she's emotional, right? But not as a crazy man or a wild man, or losing your temper. You know what I'm saying? And some of you lose your temper and punch holes in the wall, and have your clothes packed up by the door ready to go and all kind of crazy stuff. But that's the beauty of the truth, because you'll learn how to deal with a woman. The beauty of the truth is that when it comes to getting through things, you got counselors, you got brothers in here that are amazing counselors, counselors for brothers and sisters, and for married couples or whoever, right? Even if you ain't in the truth, that's how I came into the truth, from an amazing counselor that counseled me on a situation I had in the world. And when I hung up that phone, I knew that this was the home of the truth. I knew that I was in the right place, because I had never been treated like that in the world. I had never had nobody talk to me that way, not with sternness, but also with love, right? Like the truth ain't the Christian church. You're not going to get your answers in the Christian church for the situations, the real life situations that you have in the world. You'll be still going through those problems going to that church. You'll be still sleeping around with different men, still going to that church. You'll still be smoking weed and cigarettes, still going to that church. You'll still be a drug dealer and a whoremonger, still going to that church. That church will not fix your problems, right? Only the truth of the Bible, only in the I.S.U.P.K will you actually fix your problems and see that, listen, and look back like I do and say how lucky you are that the Lord didn't kill you, right? Where you at? You can drop that. Give me Ezekiel 34:1. Ezekiel 34, and I'm sorry, Ezekiel 34:31. You said when Steve Harvey wrote that book, Think Like a Man and Act Like a Woman, he became their new pastor. Steve Harvey should be he need to tell that daughter of his to think like a woman, a modest woman. The way she tearing up the city, she done slept with down there. I done seen pictures of her with that, like every up and coming black celebrity brother there is. Steve Harvey ain't a counselor, man. He's a comedian. Go ahead.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 34 and 31.
Mm-hmm.
And ye are my flock, the flock of my pasture are men, and I am your God, saith the
So
Lord.
the Lord said the flock of his pastor are men. The Lord uses men to prophesy unto Israel. The Lord used men to fight those battles in Israel. The Lord used men to fight those battles before we got the land of Israel. The Lord used men to teach and raise up his people and execute his judgment. It wasn't a woman that would come on a horse with a sword if you was found sinning against the Lord to kill you, to cut off your head. It was men. It was prophets of the Lord that would come to your town. When the prophets of the Lord come to your town, everybody's looking like, what's finna happen? Like, did I do something? Right? When the prophet of the Lord comes to the town, they coming to execute the Lord's judgment. They coming to put somebody to death, but it never was no woman coming to put somebody to death. Right? You can drop that. Give me Proverbs 31:10. Is that where I want to start? Salakia. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me get this one. Let me get this preset. Hold on a second. Give me Genesis 2:18, right?
Okay.
Genesis 2:18.
Con, I'm there.
You there? All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
The book of Genesis, chapter 2 and verse 18. And the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him and help me for him. Verse 19.
Listen.
And
stop that. Right there. So listen. The Lord said it wasn't good for a man to be alone. It wasn't good. It's not good for a man to be alone in today's time. He said, I will make him a helpmeet comparable to him, right? The whole reason the Lord created a woman was to help the man that he had created. That's the reason. He didn't create her to teach Adam a goddamn thing. He created her to help Adam. That was the point. The point is, you don't need a woman to teach you the Bible. You need a woman to help you teach the Bible to the world and wake up Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That's what you need. We don't need no women pastors, right? We need women. We need those women pastors that want to be pastors. We need women that have that spirit of teaching to teach the youth, to teach these young girls how not to be twerking on the goddamn internet. To teach these young girls that what's between their legs is very precious. And not to spoil it by giving it up. That's the type of women we need. We need women to teach the younger sisters that celebrating a birthday is vanity, it's vain, it's useless. Now, if you're a woman and you want to teach those things, because that's what we need. We don't need no damn woman pastor hooping and hollering, telling you her interpretation of what God is. And doing a whole spiel, telling personal business and all of that. Because they real messy in that church. They hella messy in that church. But that should be the job of Black and Hispanic women, not to, get up on a pulpit and stand over men and try to break down some scriptures. Don't nobody want to hear you talk. The Lord don't respect that. The Lord don't give a damn about that. Right? What else? What else I want to say about that? What's the point of even being a woman if you're not helping a man of the Lord? There is no point. He made Eve to help Adam. In 2023, God, the men of God the Israelites, just the men in general, I'm gonna put it that way. What more? How could we become that nation again? By our women changing, by our women turning and saying, listen, in order for our men to be righteous, we're going to have to help them be righteous. We're going to have to encourage them to be righteous. We're going to have to support them to be righteous. This is not just like y'all. A lot of people see the I.S.U.P.K. and y'all probably look at us and say, well, damn, it's it's like a damn men's club. They hate women. They always, talking about women, or because that's the most important piece that's been destroyed. Our women have been destroyed by America and feminism and, independent womanism and all of these stupid philosophies that have not benefited us. But if you just look at the generations, our children are destroyed, man. And what more? How will we come together? Listen, like in the 60s, we was tight. That's when the drugs and everything started to come in, but that's when sisters was right next to their man. When it comes to the civil rights movement, when it comes to that Black Power movement with the Black Panthers and all of that, you see them brothers, them sisters be right there supporting them brothers with the afros and all that. You see the brother with with the gun, like this. You see the sister right next to him with the gun too. Like, my point is that we was on the same page. It wasn't this division that we learned from following their philosophies in America. It's a lot of it's a big divide between Black, Hispanic men and Black and Hispanic women. It's this me thing, and you did this, and you did that. It's this pointing the finger of why our community is destroyed and why we're broken as a people. We're broken, right? Because of what I'm reading. We're supposed to be together. We're supposed to be locked in together, like how the Lord designed it. This is how the Lord designed it. He didn't design it for women to be, running things, trying to run a man. None of that. He designed a woman for her to help a Black man, to be on this side, not to be, how y'all think, ran over and, locked up in a damn basement somewhere, but to be his helpmate. Now, what man in this society needs more help than Black and brown men? I don't know another man. Hell, I see the poor men from other third world countries come here and do better than Black and Hispanic men. Habibi and them, they come over here and they got a 7-Eleven and what you call it, liquor stores. They come over here and be in the community, living large, right? And you can see it sometimes. You'll see a brother with a sister, and that sister will just lock in with that brother, and before you know it, they be done built something. But if the brother was just by himself, it wouldn't have really panned out that way. So sisters are the second half. That's the backbone of the nation of Israel. When men went to war, who you think was there with the children? Who you think was helping the wounded? It was sisters, right? Play an important role in a nation, a very important role that cannot be overlooked. Go ahead. Give me what I want. Give me Proverbs 31:10. I'm gonna show you a woman shouldn't be aspiring to teach the Bible that she don't know any damn way through Christian theology, but these are some of the things she can do that a virtuous woman does.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 31 and verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. Verse 11. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil.
Right. Oh, so the heart of her husband. So this woman is above rubies. Her price is far above rubies. Right. Let's get that out the way. Now, the heart of her husband does trust safely in her. Read that top. Read that verse. That's verse 11. Read that one more time.
Verse 11. The
Mm-hmm.
heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so
Mm-hmm.
that he shall have no need of spoil.
He don't have no need of spoil. A lot of people don't understand what this is saying. What this is saying is that if he's making money, then he loses his job, or if he doesn't have a job, his heart trusts safely in her, right? Because she's going to help him out. She's going to cover. She's going to cover while he's down, right? He has no need of spoil. He has no need to go rob anybody. He has no need to go hit somebody up over the head for some money. He has no need to do any crime. His heart trusts safely in that woman. Keep reading. You'll find out why.
Verse 12. She
Mm-hmm.
will do him good and not evil all the days of her life.
She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She will do him good and not evil and refuse for him to see his kids all the days of his life. She will do him good and not evil and not flat his tires and bust his windows out all the days of his life. You get where I'm going with it? Keep going.
God. Verse 13. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands. Verse
Right.
14.
Go ahead.
She is like the merchant's ships. She bringeth her food from afar.
Mm-hmm.
Verse
So
15.
she has a
She
business.
right.
So this woman has a business, or she's handling her business. She's making money. Go ahead.
Verse 15. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens.
So she takes care of the house. She takes care of the house. She makes sure that food is prepared. She makes sure that everybody, gets their share. Go ahead.
Verse 16. She considereth a field, and buyeth it. Within the fruit of her hands she planteth a vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 17. She girdeth her loins with strength, and strengtheneth her arms.
So she's strong. She's steadfast and she's diligent. She's not, idle. You know what idle, you know what that means? Just sitting around, talking about people, gossiping, talking about sisters. She's not doing none of that. She's handling her business, right? Go ahead.
Verse 18. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good, her candle goeth not out by night. Verse 19. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. Verse 20. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor, yea, she reacheth
So
forth her hands to the needy.
so she does a lot of things. She does a lot of great things. She's diligent. She takes care of the household. She's buying things and selling them. She's making she's sewing. She's giving to the poor and the needy. Go ahead.
Verse 21. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. Verse 22. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry, her clothing is silk and purple.
Right.
Verse
So she
23.
dressed nice. She looked good. She think about her appearance, right? She don't just step out any kind of way. She don't just go out the house looking like she, like she don't care. Go ahead.
Verse 23. Her husband is known in the gates, when he sitteth among the elders of the land. Verse 24. She maketh fine linen, and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Verse
Mm-hmm.
25. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness.
So
She took
she opened her mouth with wisdom, and on her tongue is the law of kindness. A lot of sisters don't even know how to talk to nobody, right? You don't know how the right thing to say at the right time. You're always saying something that's hurtful and mean, and you don't understand what the hell the power the power that you have in your damn tongue, right? The power can be for negative or it can be for positive, right? Life and death is in the power of the tongue, how you speak. And the way a woman can speak can change a man's whole demeanor. The way a woman can speak to a man could just make his day, or it could destroy his day, or it could, make the rest of the day hell. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 27. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness.
Right. So she looketh well to the ways of her household, and she don't eat the bread of idleness. I brought that up earlier. Just being idle, and what idols come, and that's just not with sisters, but with brothers too. When you're idle, then your mind be moving. You start thinking about things and doing things and talking about things and talking about people that you shouldn't be doing. Go ahead.
Verse 28. Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her
Right.
husband also, and he praiseth her.
So you get the point. That's what a woman should be. A virtuous woman. Not no big hat wearing, first lady, woman pastor, claiming to know the Bible, trying to teach the Bible, talking about everybody, can't break down one goddamn scripture. If you asked her what is it, what did Deuteronomy 28 mean, she wouldn't know. That's not what a woman should be. That's not a woman's job, and that's not what the Lord prescribed a woman to do. He wanted a woman to be virtuous, a helper to a man, a good mother, a woman that that comes out and takes pride in her appearance, a woman that gives to the poor, a woman that don't sit around and talk about other people and be idle. That's the type of woman a sister should be. Not no big hat wearing Christian pastor. Not no sister that thinks that she can teach the Bible and that she's she's special because the Lord comes and talks to her and he told her something. That's not it. But we're going to switch gears. I'm going to switch to another topic. I want to go over this real quick. So if you could, we're dropping this topic on women, and we're going to go. Give me the Wikipedia. Did you get the Wikipedia article?
God, I did get it.
Okay. Hold on one second. Give me that article. Hold on. I'm gonna give a backdrop. So earlier I talked about fake Israelites saying that at no time did Israelites use the shield of David. It's there's nothing to show that they ever used it. So what we're going to be going over is the Elephantine Papyri in Ostraka, which is a paper, right? It's a whole bunch of documents that were left there from like 1,000 years, and this was on the Egyptian border, on the Egyptian I think it was southern Egypt, at the bottom of Egypt. It was basically documents that told about the city, what was going on, and also about Israelites that actually lived there. And they had soldiers that were in the military, or mercenaries, Israelite mercenaries that were in the military working for Egypt to protect their southern border. So Israelites lived in Egypt during this time, and this time predates Christ by about 500 years. And this is after King David and King Solomon. And so it just shows you that Israelites actually were living in the Horn of Africa, aside from Jerusalem, outside of Jerusalem, right? which is something that I know a lot of people probably wouldn't know. But as you stick with my classes, what you're going to see is I'm going to start showing throughout my classes Israelites in different areas of Africa, Israelite cities and towns and settlements in Africa. And so this is one of them. But we're bringing this out because of the fact that a lot of Israelites say the Shield of David is no evidence that connects it to the Israelites. So if you could go ahead and read that for me. And I'm gonna pull it up. Let me see if I can pull it up for the people. We're going to see. You muted.
I know. It's
You got it?
I got it, sir.
All right.
I'm going to read it now.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Elephantine Papyri and Ostraka consists of thousands of documents from the Egyptian border fortresses of Elephantine and Aswan, which yielded hundreds of papyri and ostraka and hieratic and Demotic Egyptian, Aramaic, Koine, Greek, Latin,
If you could,
Coptic.
I want you just to slow down a little bit and speak louder.
Would you like to start over?
Yeah, go ahead and start over.
The Elephantine Papyri and Ostraka consist of thousands of documents from the Egyptian border fortresses of Elephantine and Aswan, which yielded hundreds of papyri and ostraka and hieratic and Demotic Egyptian, Aramaic, Koine, Greek, Latin, and Coptic, spanning a period of 100 years in the 5th to 4th centuries BCE.
So the Elephantine Papyri and Ostraka, it spans 100 years in the 5th and 4th centuries BCE, before Christ, the 5th and 4th centuries, right? And so, yeah, keep going. I just wanted to say that.
The documents include letters and legal contracts from family and other archives, and are thus an invaluable source of knowledge for scholars of varied disciplines such as epistolography, law, society, religion, language, and onomastics. The Elephantine documents include letters and legal contracts from family and other archives, divorce documents, the manumission of slaves and other businesses. The dry soil of Upper Egypt preserved the documents.
I just want you to hold it right there. Now, this is a very important find, because usually you don't find documents with this much in them to give, scholars and historians an understanding of what the civilization was back at that particular time. And it was preserved by the dry soil of Upper Egypt. Now, go ahead and read that next paragraph for me, young man.
Hundreds of these Elephantine papyri span a period of 100 years during the 5th and 4th centuries BCE. Legal documents and a cache of letters survive, turned up on the local gray market of antiques starting in the late 19th century, and were scattered into several Western collections. A number of the Aramaic papyri document the Jewish community among soldiers stationed at Elephantine under
Achaemenid.
Achaemenid.
Yeah. Hold on. Stop that right there. Now, it said that it's found the documents of a Jewish community among the soldiers stationed at Elephantine. Now, when it's saying Jewish, I want you to understand it's not talking about the so-called Jews. It's talking about Israelites. Because at this time, the so-called Jews hadn't even arose, right? This is probably, let me see. This is probably almost 1,000 years, if I'm not mistaken. And we're talking about the 7th century AD, when the so-called Jews took on the identity of the Israelites, but that was in Eastern Europe. And so it couldn't possibly be talking about those people. Now, what you also have to understand is that the people that are digging up this stuff, they're Arabs. The Arabs, through Islam, came into Egypt in the 7th century. That's why today there are Arabs in Egypt. Arabs are not, native to Egypt, but they live there today and they believe that they are the ancient Egyptians, right? So you have Arabs, and also today you have the so-called Jews who are in Israel. And so I just want to let you understand that when it's saying a Jew, they found in the papyri, they found a Jewish community. It's not talking about the so-called Jews. Go ahead.
A number of the Aramaic papyri document the Jewish community among soldiers stationed at Elephantine under Achaemenid rule, 495 to 399 BCE. The so-called Passover letter of 419 BCE, discovered in 1907, which appears to give instructions for the observance of the festival of unleavened bread.
So
Passover.
So what they found was a Passover letter, which gave instructions on how to observe the feast of unleavened bread. Go ahead. You can drop that. You can drop it. You can drop it, right? I want you to skip down to, let me see. I'll find it. Jewish documents. I don't know if you got a header, but or you can just scroll down where it starts. It says Jewish documents.
Sir, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Read that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Historical significance. The Elephantine papyri predate all extant manuscripts of the Hebrew Bible, and thus give scholars a very important glimpse at how Judaism was practiced in Egypt during the 5th century BCE.
So let me just because it just burns me up. I gotta just say it. Like they won't say Israelite, and we know why they won't say that, right? Because they're trying to implant themselves in history, right? When they were never there. So it said Judaism is saying Jewish, and so I just have to keep interjecting and just say, listen, they were not there. This is actually talking about Israelites, and I'm gonna show you when we when I show you some of these artifacts. Go ahead. Salakia.
As they show clear evidence of the existence in 400 BCE of a polytheistic sect of Jews, it is widely agreed that this Elephantine community originated in the mid-7th or mid-6th centuries BCE, likely as a result of Judean and Samaritan refugees fleeing into Egypt during the times of Assyrian and Babylonian invasions.
So
they seem to have had.
Salakia. So they're saying that how they got there, these are refugees that fled during Babylonian and Assyrian invasions, right? I'm just for time's sake, I'm gonna go into this a little bit more later, right? But for time's sake, also they found letters of correspondence of them actually sending letters to Jerusalem in order for the high priest to help them rebuild their temple because it had been destroyed. And I'm gonna show you a picture. This is a picture of the temple that is actually in Elephante. It's called Aswan today. It's a city called Aswan today in Egypt. It's right by the water. But let me pull this up real quick. In fact, won't you get the what article is that? Get the article about I don't even know what it's titled. Let me see. Bear with me 1 second. I can find out right now. Middle East, Star of David. That article, if you could.
The one that says Star of David. found engraved into an ancient temple or Ramses bust on
Yeah,
Egypt.
yeah, that one.
Read that one.
So let me just go here real quick. So also what they found was that the Israelites, this is crazy. The Israelites were also worshiping Egyptian gods. The Israelites that were in Elephantine, they was worshiping the Most High, but they was connecting it also to one of the Egyptian deities. And so let me share this. These are some of the artifacts that were found. Some of the gods. It's a fertility goddess. I'm gonna read a little bit of it. Let me see. So it talks about this military unit. It was a military unit of Israelites, like mercenaries, hired to protect the southern border of Lower Egypt. It says, even more intriguing are clues left in Aramaic writings that have survived from the Judean military unit. Possible allusions to a goddess named Anat. One administrative document lists contributions of silver given to, they call him Yahweh, but Yahweh, to the temple of Yahweh. But it also indicates that some of the monies received were dedicated to Anat Bethel. Another document, a court record from a dispute over the ownership of a donkey, shows that a Judean man swore an affidavit by Anat Yahweh. So they were connecting two gods, worshiping two gods, right? And so that's something that came out. And I said, well, that's just like some niggas. So this is the god, one of the gods. It's a female, but you can clearly see. Let me blow it up. Let me see if I can blow it up. No, I can't blow it up. It's a female with an afro, right? It's very clear that these was black people, and I don't have to go to the artifacts. All you would have to actually know is that the history to know that the so-called Jewish man today was not there. He was not there, in the 5th and 4th centuries BCE in Egypt. So let me drop this. Let's drop this real quick. So give me that, and I'm gonna pull up that other article. Give me the one you got, young man.
God, sorry. Egypt has recently been witnessing a great commotion following the archaeological discovery of two Star of David engravings in an ancient temple in the southern city of Aswan. The Roman temple, which dates back to the 3rd century BC, is Aswan. The Roman temple, which dates back to the 3rd century BC.
Let me just hold on right there. Now, this is deep because it was a Roman temple in Egypt in the 3rd century BC. So you know that the Bible is real because we know that the Romans, right? They ruled that whole area, and they came in there into Egypt also and ruled Egypt. Right? The Roman Empire was a great, vast empire, but there was two Star of David carvings, and I'm just going to fast forward it for you, and I'm gonna pull up the carvings. I'm gonna pull them the picture up, a better picture for y'all. So like I said, the Egyptian authorities, they run Egypt. So when these carvings came up, they thought that the archaeologists who were so-called Jews, they had did it themselves, and then they did testing on them. And if you could find where they did testing, I don't know if it got it in here. I don't think it has it in here. It just has it that they actually accused the fake Jews of making these engravings. Then they sent the stones to a laboratory, and when it came back that these stones actually dated back to the 4th and 5th century, to the time that those Israelites were living there in community, right? So let me pull it up real quick. I can get. Let's see. There's a picture. So like it should. I thought it would be bigger than this, but let's see if we can blow it up. I think that's big enough. All right, on screen share. Share this one. So this is what was carved. As you see, it was two shields, right? And this dates back to the time of to the 5th and 6th centuries BCE. The same time that Israelites were actually inhabiting Aswan, or what it is called Aswan today, but Elephantine back in ancient times. Ain't that something? See, that's why I love history, because we can prove that we're the Israelites. We can prove that Israelites was all through Africa. It's going to take some time, but we can bring out the artifacts, right? And so they were out there. And let me just show you something else, because they have a artifact of the goddess of Hathor. With Hathor, it's a black woman that's clearly black, right? I don't got that one right now. Maybe I'll pull it up right now. I'll pull Hathor up for y'all real quick. And I'm gonna pull this other artifact up, and then we're gonna end the class. Let's see, Hathor. This is out there too. Pull it up. All right. Let's see. Let me present this real quick for y'all. This is Hathor. This is in the same area where the Israelites was at in Elephantine. Like, if you want to do your own research, just research Elephantine, Aswan. The Israelites was there. They was in a military. They had a military unit. Then they had a whole temple they created that was like the temple in Jerusalem, but it was smaller. Show you a picture of that too. But let me get this. Let me get Hathor right here. There we go. No, right here. This is Hathor right here. And now this is the model. I'm gonna show you the model that they made of the actual temple that was in Elephantine. So pull that up. There's a lot of other artifacts I can pull up. I'm gonna pull that up. Pull this picture up. Let me see. And then we're gonna get up out of here. It's the temple right here. Right? So this is the thing. What's that precept? There's a precept that's perfect for somebody listening that know the precept for the earth, given artifacts are basically truth shall spring from the earth. There's a precept where it talks about truth shall come from the earth, or something to that. I'm paraphrasing, I'm sure. I can't remember exactly, but as time progresses and goes on, more things are going to come out. And listen, all of this stuff is public information, right? And it's just that we don't look for these things, and we don't Of course, a lot of people don't give a damn. They like to say that it didn't exist. The Israelites didn't exist, this and that. But there's plenty of evidence and plenty of artifacts to show that the Israelites did exist. And another point I wanted to make about these soldiers in Elephantine, these Israelite soldiers, they had a garrison, right? Just like you would set up a garrison or fort so people can't come through this line. But these were soldiers that were hired mercenaries. And then, of course, a community was around that whole thing. And it takes me back to the book of Acts with Cornelius, where a lot of people that don't understand the Bible or don't understand history, they say Cornelius was a Roman. They say Cornelius was a Roman. He was not an Israelite because it said that he was a Roman citizen of the Italian band or band of soldiers. But Rome, there's evidence, there's history that there were Israelite soldiers in Italy, right? In order for you, a easy way to get citizenship in Rome was to join their military. And you know, if you had citizenship, you could eat good, you could live better than the life you was living. Just like in ancient Egypt, the Israelites, when they came out of Egypt and Moses took them in the wilderness, they wanted to go back to Egypt. Why? Because Egypt had all the grain. They always knew that they was going to eat for sure. And that's the same idea as here with America. Black and Hispanic people don't want to separate from this place. You don't want to realize that you're the children of God. And when you do realize it, or you might get a little thought about it, you say, yeah, but what about this? And what about that? What are we going to do? Instead of putting your trust into the Most High, instead of having, having the type of faith that Moses had, or having the type of faith that the brothers that follow Christ had, right? You would rather say, you know what? I'm comfortable here. I'm comfortable in America. I'm comfortable with my life here. Why do I have to change? What's wrong with how we live? What's wrong with Christmas? What's wrong with Thanksgiving? I don't understand. It brings me and my family together, right? Well, you're going to find out the hard way. The dollar is already falling. You have countries that is backing out from America, and they're coming with their own currency, right? So things are going to get tight, right? And if you don't band together with your people, if you don't come together with your people, then you're going to be out there lost in the wilderness, right?
Right.
So with that, I'm going to drop the class. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I appreciate y'all for, locking in with me. We'll be back next Wednesday. Shalom, Israel. Shalom, young man.
Shalom, sir.